Hello, hello, and welcome to Thunkable Live on Air. My name is Jimmy. I'll be hosting today, stepping in for Donal. Run user operations at Thunkable. You might recognize my voice from past tutorials where I do the Thunkable Beaver. They're over here. Today we're going to be doing a really cool tutorial for live app building. We're going to build our own quote of the day app using an Airtable spreadsheet. Quote of the day is something that we've seen a lot from users in terms of requests, so we're really excited to do this one. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to screen share real quick. And here we go. Should be seeing everything. And let's get started with this quick little Thunkable overview. So Thunkable is the platform where anyone can build their own mobile apps. And Thunkable on Air is our live streaming app building session where we teach you how to build apps and answer questions in real time. So if you have any questions, please just enter them into the comment section. Today we're going to be doing a quote of the day app. So again, quick Thunkable overview. We use blocks instead of code. So instead of coding, you drag and drop blocks together to make your apps functional. We're cross-platform for Android and iOS, so you can build apps for either operating system and upload them to the Google Play Store and App Store. And you can remix apps, which is really cool. So at the end of this live app building session, we'll have a shareable link that you can click and it will actually open up the project. So it's going to be something you can take with you. And of course, we have the most amazing community in the world. The community at Thunkable is made up of app builders from almost every country in the world who want to share and build and help and learn together. And our community is really something amazing. So if you're watching and you're a member of the Thunkable community, sending you lots of love. We also offer live chat support with our customer success team. To get started on Thunkable, you're going to need a few things. You're going to need Google Chrome or access to the internet and go to thunkable.com. You're going to need a Gmail account, but now we actually offer email login. So if you don't have a Gmail account, you can still log into Thunkable. And you're going to need the Thunkable Live app. The Thunkable Live app can be downloaded on the Google Play Store or the App Store. This is an app that allows you to test the things you build in real time. So as we build on thunkable.com, I have the Thunkable Live app downloaded on my phone, and we are going to be building in real time, which is going to be great. Awesome. So let's get started. This is a quote of the day app. Every, I'll just go really back and stop sharing my screen. So with the Thunkable Live app, we're going to be able to test this. And the quote of the day app is super cool. We're going to be able to generate a quote for every day. And that quote is going to change. And we'll be able to store all of our quotes in an Airtable spreadsheet. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go back to screen share. But really quick, I want to just see if people are asking questions and if we're answering them. So I'm just going to open up the open up this live stream and see if folks are asking questions. And I'm just going to read off a few questions. We got Raisul Islam. Hello, how are you? Leah Wulong says, hello. Please make a demo payment app for Paytm. How do I make live chat apps? We're going to start answering all of these questions. Thank you so much for asking. I want to make an app for school. Sanchit, I hope we can help you do that. Let's get started with this, this awesome quote of the day app. So I'm going to stop showing my face and we are going to go back to screen sharing real quick. Here we go. All right, so the first thing that we're going to need for this quote of the day app is the spreadsheets component, which can be found in the data section. So go scroll down to data and we have the spreadsheet component. Now, there are 4 things that you're going to need to do to connect your spreadsheet component to Airtable. You're going to need these 4 things. Now, we're not going to do that in this app building session, show you how to get these 4 things, because these are all private. You don't want to share your API key with anyone. But I will tell you how you do it. If you go to docs.thunkable.com/spreadsheet, we have a little pop-up there. We have a step-by-step walkthrough which explains how to set up your free Airtable account. Again, Airtable is a sharing platform that allows people to collaborate using spreadsheets. And we have this really step-by-step explanation that shows you how to get your API key, how to get your base ID. And if you don't like documentation, we also recently published this tutorial, how to build your own survey app. This has a step-by-step walkthrough, which teaches you how to connect your spreadsheet to your Thunkable app. So the first step here is dragging and dropping a spreadsheet into the app, and then you'll have to enter these things. I already have done that. Again, I have the spreadsheet. This is in a separate app that I've already created. We have this spreadsheet app over here, and this is already linked. So not going to go into the API and all the things that you need. We're just going to get started with building. But let me show you really quickly. This is the Airtable spreadsheet that I've created. These are a bunch of quotes that I think are pretty cool. We got Dr. Seuss, we got Maya Angelou, we got Jack Ma, we got Malala, we've got Serena Williams. You've got all of these awesome quotes from people. And what we're going to do is call these quotes to appear, and based on the number. So let's say today is April 5th. So today we're going to see this quote from Jack Ma. Today is difficult. Tomorrow is more difficult. The day after tomorrow is beautiful, but most people die tomorrow. Die tomorrow evening. Pretty intense quote. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a label into the app. This is where our quote is going to be displayed. And we're going to make the text of this label, let's make it pretty big. Let's make it 40. And the next thing that we want to do is make sure that the content in this label is centered. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into advanced. We're going to go into, let's see, positioning. We're going to scroll down to where it says justify content, and we're going to say center. So now everything that shows up in this label is going to be centered. Next, and this label is going to display the quote. Next, we're going to add a row component right underneath the label. Oops, there we go. And we're going to add a label into the row component. So we're going to have two labels. Let's go to row over here, and we're going to go to height, and we're going to click fit contents. So now your app should look like this. We have a label that will display the quote, and this label is going to display the name of the person who said the quote. And we want to make this label have all of the text moved over just a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on row. We're going to go to advanced, and then we are going to go to positioning. We're going to go scroll down to justify content. We're going to say flex end. And as you can see now, this is moved over, so this is going to be slightly indented. And then we're going to add some padding. So go to spacing, and we are going to add, let's say, 10% padding to the right. So now the name is going to be off-centered, but it's not going to be all the way over here on your app. So this is a pretty easy app to get started. To make it a little more beautiful, we're just going to change the background color of this app. I think we'll do a nice light purple. There we go. And so this is pretty simple. These are the only things that we need so far to get this quote of the day app working. So let's block it out now. This is going to be pretty cool. So go to the block section, and this is where we program our apps using these blocks to make this app functional. So the first thing we're going to do is go to screen one and get this screen one opens block. So when screen one opens, this is a block that programs what's going to happen when screen one opens. Next, we're going to go to the functions column and get this block right over here, this block that says do something. So the function block is really cool. The function block allows you to program a lot of different things into one single block. And then rather than do all those things again and again, you can just call this block in a single way. And we're going to show you how to do that. So what is this function block going to do? It's going to update the quote. Update the quote. So to update the quote, what we're going to do is we're going to call the spreadsheet, and we're going to get this get column block. In spreadsheet one, call get column. Great. And from there, what we want to do is make sure that the column name, oops, sorry. Actually, it's get cell. My mistake. We've got in spreadsheet one, call get cell. Oops, that was a mistake, but we're going to move forward. So for the row number, we need to call this spreadsheet, and we're going to call the row number that it's in. And so how do we do that based on the day? Well, we can go into the device section, the devices drawer, and we can pull out this current hour block. And this isn't just for current hour, this actually has for a bunch of different things. So we're going to select day of the month, and we're going to plug that in to the row number block. So now to update the quote, it's going to call the spreadsheet, and it's going to get the current day of the month. And again, today is April 5th. It's going to get number 5. So every day, it's going to be able to call this spreadsheet and get a different number. So we only have 17, but if you want to do this app and have a quote for every day of the month, you can have 31 quotes, and you can update it every month as you go. So next, for the column name, we need to tell the spreadsheet which column we want to go into. So we are going to, let's just double check. We have the quotes column. So we need to go into the text drawer, get an empty text block, and we're just going to write in quotes. And this name has to match the column that you're calling from the spreadsheet. All right, next we want to update the label, and that again is this label right here, label 1. We can even rename this, we can call it quote label. So we want to make sure that the quote label displays the quote. So let's go to the block section. We're going to go to quote label, and we're going to say from quote label set text to. And what are we going to set the text to? We're going to set it to the value of whatever day of the month it is in the quotes column. So that's going to update the label over here. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to live test this and see how this is working. So I've got my Thunkable Live app. I'm just going to switch really quickly. Stop. Here we go. Hey, what's going on? And I'm going to go into what we just built and hit live test, and we're going to see if we can get the quote for this spreadsheet. So opening this up, making sure we are all connected. We're all good. Oh, one thing. Let me go back to screen sharing one more time. Almost made a big mistake there, Thunkers. Once you've created this function, what you need to do is then go back into the function drawer and get this little block that says update the quote, and then just plug it in. So now when screen 1 opens, it's going to do all of these things. And let's go back to my face, and here we go. We have this app which says today is difficult, tomorrow is difficult, the day after tomorrow is beautiful. So already this app is calling the spreadsheet, but we still, as you can see, it doesn't have the name. So we have to do the same thing to call the spreadsheet and get the name of the person who said the quote. So let's go back in. We're going to do some screen sharing. All right, so we're back into our blocks editor. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get another spreadsheet block. Then we're going to get the same get cell block and plug it in. And this time, we are going to do the same thing for row number. We want the current day of the month, so we can just copy and paste this block. And for the column name, we don't want the quotes column. We want the names column over here. So let's just type in names, and we're going to plug this in over here. So now it's going to call the spreadsheet, it's going to get the day of the month, and it's going to go into the names column. And next, we have this other label over here. We can rename this names label. And we can say, set the names label text to be the value. So now, to update the quote, this function contains all these things, and they go immediately into this little block. So I'm going to live test this app. We're going to stop the screen share. Hey, good to see everybody again. So now we have on our app, we have the full quote, and we have the quote of the person's, we have the person's name who said the quote. So this is how you build an app, a quote of the day app. This is a pretty cool standalone app, but if you have other apps, you can incorporate this feature really easily. You can make the text smaller, you can move it up to the top of the screen. So if you have an app and you just want to add a quote of the day, that's something that you can totally do. I'll show you a few more tricks, things that you can do with this app that can make it really fun. We're just going to screen share and go back into Thunkable. So let's say you don't want to make this a quote of the day app. Maybe you want to make this a random quote app. So what I'm going to do really quickly is just add a button. Oops, I put the button to the label. Let me move this around real quick. Here we go. We've got a button, and we can say this is the generate quote button. And we're going to change the text name, the name of the button to be, generate. I've mixed this up, Thunkers. What are we going to do? Generate quote button. And we can change the text to just say generate quote. I'm just going to move this button away from the label to give it some space. So let's add some padding. We're going to add, let's say, 5%, just to make it a little farther away. And I always like to make my buttons round, so I'm just going to go into border radius, click 100, and now we have a round button. So if you want to make this, you want to be able to push this button to generate a quote, then what you can do is go into the block section, and you can just remove this, this block from the screen when opens block and get a when generate button click do block and put this block over here. So now when you click the button, it's going to call a quote, but now it's still going to call a quote from the day of the month. So what we're going to do is remove this block, and we're going to go into the math block, and we're going to get the random integer block. And let's see how many rows we have. So for rows, we have 17. So we're going to say to update the quote, call the spreadsheet and get a random number between 1 and 17 in the quote section and set the label quote to be that value. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to do the same thing over here, although we want these to be the same. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a value block and plug it in over here. So it's going to get this random number, and whatever random number this is going to be, it's going to set the quote to be the cell from that number, and at the same time, it's going to tell the name to be the same name as the quote. So let's see how this works. I'm going to open up my Thunkable app. Let's see. I'm also going to make the height of the button to be fit contents. It's already there. Great. And we're gonna live test this app. So I'm just gonna click live test, and we're gonna open up the Thunkable app. We're going to stop. Hey everyone. So here's our app. I'm gonna push this button, and here we go. It's going to just start generating random quotes every time you push the button. Looks like it's not giving us the name. Looks like I might have made a mistake there. So let's go back to the screen share and see if we can fix that. So one really easy way to fix this actually is you can just make the name of the name of the person who said the quote. You can just add that on. So we can just type in Dr. Seuss over here, and that's all going to appear in one label. Off the top of my head, I don't think I know how to fix this one. So I'm going to have to come back to you in the comments section with how to do this. For now, I'm just going to put this back, and I'm going to change this again to be from the device section. And we're going to say day of the month and day of the month. So here we have it. This is all the blocks that you need for this. And I'm going to delete this button too, because we don't need it anymore. These are all the apps you need for a quote of the day app. If you have any questions, please enter them into the comment section. I'm just going to check here. We've got lots of awesome interactions going on, which is great. If you have any other questions, you can always post in the community forum. If you have ideas for what you want to see on Thunkable Live on Air, please let us know. Again, we're going to be broadcasting live app building sessions every Friday. And please let us know your ideas and feedback. Thanks so much, and thanks for thunking.